Hello, thank you for being with me again. I'm in the cool in the garden, which is nice, but that breeze is getting a little bit cooler, so I think I've been made to feel the good old northern word, nesh, by the sunny weather that we've had, which means that I feel the cold more. I'm affected by it. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. What I'm also sticking to it is watching my eyes flick around. Do excuse, but Percy has had it on him all day. He's been following me wherever I've been. He's hopped onto, there's a table just in front of me, hopped on there, he's just hopped back onto it now and made the secateurs rattle as he took off. He followed me into the garage when I was going out this morning to the shops, and I had a full conversation with him explaining that, please, don't do that, because I might close the garage doors and you could very well get locked in. But no, he carried on having a look around. And then when he was satisfied, out he came. And a friend called around the other day, and she was mesmerised by him. And he was flitting around in the edge of the garage, and she said, "Oh gosh, where is he?" I said, "I don't know, I can't see him at present." So she knelt down to look under her car before she drove off to make sure that she wasn't going to hurt him. I said, "Oh, if you just go very slowly." He's not daft, he scuttles out of the way. I said he does that when the engine starts, so he was and is fine. He's a strong little bird, or he gives the perception of strength, even though looking at him here, watching him, watching me, those tiny frail little legs, it wouldn't take anything to damage one of them. How are we with that strength? Do you feel strong? Do you have a perception of strength rather than being actually strong? And I don't just mean physical strength. I'm not as physically strong as I used to be. I can't do the heavy stuff that I used to do. And I can't toil away in the garden for as long as I used to do. I take breaks and then come back to it. So I give myself that perception of strength. So I shouldn't be surprised when I remembered to put everything away and I go, let me sit down with my feet up. But we adapt as we change. And as my mum used to say, you will always manage. And by that, she didn't mean that I would be a manager, in a company or something. She meant that I would cope with things that life threw at me. And some of us do seem able to do that, whilst others crumble. But that depends on so many things within us. It depends on our upbringing, it depends on how we are positioned emotionally at that time. It depends on how safe we feel, how secure we feel, whether we can manage with a situation, whether we can cope with it, or whether we feel the need to say, help, I could do with a hand. And I'm just going to turn the camera around. There's a pigeon sitting on that fence there, but the trellising at the top is in need of a helping hand. And having had my fall off the wall, I don't feel I can manage that any longer. So I have asked my friend, and hopefully he will come and help me. So that's good. I don't feel that I abuse asking him for help, because I know he's got a lot going on in his life. But I know that as a friend, he will help me if he possibly can. And if not, then the trellis will just have to hang on in there for a little while longer. The pigeon doesn't seem to mind that it's sitting on a wonky bit of trellis, so why should I? But that managing, that feeling that we can cope, if we lose that feeling, then it really can bother us, especially things like finances. With the way of the world at present, with the scammers, with the scam emails and phone calls and goodness knows what, I fear for people who feel that they can't cope with these things any longer. I no longer have a bank down the road. So online banking is the norm for most of us, I think, these days. Well, most of us where I live. I don't know about where you live. But for those, I can just see Percy behind me now. But for those of us who haven't got a computer, who, even if they had one, wouldn't know what to do, that they can't manage. How do they sort out finances? How do they set up direct debits and things? And then the supermarkets are starting saying, well, we're not going to be taking cash any longer. Okay. So I feel that more and more people are falling out of the bracket that says, it's all right, I'm hanging in there, I'm managing. And they are quietly, often silently, slipping to not being able to manage, but not having people around who will help them with that, who will help them without them being made to feel useless, without being made to feel you don't know what you're doing. And that maintaining of self-dignity, self-belief is very important to keep going for the other things in life. So, do you give that perception of strength where the paddling under the water is getting a little bit on the frenetic side? Or are you gliding along like a swan, just gently paddling, taking everything in your stride? Oh, that it were so. Or have you always been a manager? Someone who by hook or crook gets things done? Or, like me, you sit on the fence. With some things you can manage, and with others you can't. On that note, I will make sure that I give Percy his supper. Have to prioritise, feed the cat, feed the birds, and then feed me. Hey ho. Thank you for joining me. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now. Bye.